Welcome to Teaching on Demand. I'm Miss Gross.
And I'm Miss Woods.
And this week we're talking about percentages. Today we're going to teach you about the percent equation. So let's go ahead and get started.
So the first thing we wanted to go over with you guys is what a percent actually is. So it is a ratio that compares a number to 100. So in the real world, you may see this in your grades, in discounts at stores, possibly in recipes, those type of things. And we also wanted to go over how you can convert fractions to decimals, to percents, and then back and forth. So for fractions to a decimal, you need to divide the numerator by the denominator. If you want to get a decimal to a percent, then you would multiply the decimal by 100. And to go back, if you wanted to do a percent to a decimal, then you would divide the percent by 100. Then the final one would be converting from a decimal to a fraction. You would put the entire number over the last digit's place value. So if the last digit place value was in the thousands, then you would have that over the the denominator would be 1,000. So you would have that over 1,000. And then Miss Gross is going to take over to talk to you all about the percents and equation.
So when you're looking at this right here, part over whole equals percent over 100, it looks very familiar to you, doesn't it? It looks like it should look like a proportion. Remember last week when we solved proportions, we cross multiplied and solved? We're going to do the same thing, but this week we're going to either be looking for a percent, or we're going to be looking for the part, or we're going to be looking for the whole. So the percent is the number with the percent sign. It's going to be the number over 100, out of 100, because that's what percent means. It means per 100. The part is going to be you're going to usually get the clue with the word is to tell you what the part is. The part is going to be the number out of something. And then the whole is a clue number with the word of. So I put some little clues over here, and we're going to be doing this quite a bit. The is over of equals percent over 100. I use these clue words to help me figure out where it goes in that proportion. So for example, if my part in my whole was 1 over 2, that would be 1/2, right? So you know that 1/2 is 1 out of 2. So 1 is the part, 2 is the whole. And we want to figure out what percent 1/2 is. Now, you guys know that 1/2 is 50%. And that would make sense. 1 over 2 would equal 50 over 100, because remember, 2 goes into 150 times. So 1 times 50 would be 50, or you could kind of cross multiply and solve that way. All right, let's look at the next example. So this one you saw last week when we were solving for equations, but if you look, it's over 100, so we can figure out what percent this is. 10 over 50 is what percent? And remember last week we did 50 times 2, we get 100, so 10 times 2 would be 20. So 10 over 50 would be 20 over 100, or 20%. Let's look at these other examples. I'm going to bring up my annotation tools. All right, so I want to put over here in the corner our clue words. Is over of equals percent over 100. And we're going to use those clue words to help us solve all of these problems. So let's look at number 1. What number is 45% of 60? Now you heard percent, and you heard 60, and you heard is. So we got to figure out what each of them go. We already know that 100 goes here. Now, do you see the percent in this one? What number is 45% of 60? Yes, 45 is the percent. So 45 is going to go where the percent is. Now, do we have the is, the part, or do we have the of, the whole? What number is 45% of 60? Because we've got this of 60 here, that tells us we have the whole. So what we're looking for is the is. So we're going to cross multiply and solve this. On cross multiply, we want to do 45 times 60. and then we're going to divide by 100. So let's do a quick calculation of 45 times 60. And we got 2,700. And then we're going to do 100 times x, or 100x, and we're just going to divide here. So you would do 45 times 60, divide that by 100. And of course, I'm just showing you the way I do the equation, because when we get to the algebra unit, once you have this in your mind, it makes it easier when we get to algebra. So 2,700 divided by 100 would be 27. So the answer to this problem, what number is 45% of 60, is 27. So we could plug that back in. 27 is 45% of 60. All right, so let's clear all of this. Let's look at number 2. 25 is 10% of what number? So remember, we've got our little clue words. Is over of equals percent over 100. And then let's go ahead and plug everything in. 25 is 10% of what number? We already have the 100. Do you see a percent in there? Yes, we see 10. So 10 is the percent. And then 25 is, do you see that? 25 is. So the 25 goes in the is, and of what number? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the x. And now we're going to cross multiply and divide. Do 25 times 100, and we get 2,500. And then we're going to divide that by 10. So divide 2,500 by 10, and x equals 250. And that would make sense. 25 is 10% of 250. All right, let's look at the number 3. 11 is what percent of 55? So we've got the is over of equals percent over 100. 11 is what percent of 55? So do you have a percent? I don't see a percent, so that's what we're looking for, because it says what percent. So we've got the x over 100. That's what we're solving for. So we should have an is and we should have an of. Which one is your is? 11 is. Which one is your of? Of 55. So that's how we would plug that in. And then we cross multiply and we solve. 11 times 100, 1,100. And we're going to divide by 55. I know that that's not pretty, but I'm trying. So 1,100 divided by 55 is 20. And does that make sense? 11 is 20% of 55. Yes, it does make sense. All right, let's look at number 4. What is 60% of 150? So remember, is over of equals percent over 100. Are we given the percent this time? Yes, we are. We're given the 60%, so we can go ahead and write that in. 60 out of 100 is 60%, and we're given the of 150, so that is our whole. So we're going to put that there, and what is, we're looking for the what. We're looking for the is. So now we're going to cross multiply and solve. We're going to do 150 times 60. 150 times 60 is 9,000, and then 100 times x. And then we're just going to divide by that 100. And x equals 90. And let's see if that makes sense. 90 is 60% of 150. And yes, that makes sense. All right, last question. You all have done really well. 49 is 35% of what number? So we've got our is over of equals percent over 100. 49 is 35% of what number? Do we have a percent? We do. We have 35%. So we got 35 over 100. Now we've got 49 is, so that's our part. And of what number? We don't know. That's what we're looking for. So now we're going to cross multiply and solve. 49 times 100, 4,900. And we're going to divide by 35. And 4,900 divided by 35 is 140. And let's see if that makes sense. 49 is 35% of 140. And yes, that makes a lot of sense. All right. I hope this made sense to you. We're going to look at some important reminders.
So like Ms. Gross has talked about while she was going through all those examples is, and when you were trying to solve for the percent, you can do is over of equals percent over 100. So when you guys are going through your assignments and everything, make sure that you keep that in mind. And I think that is all we have for today. So I hope you all enjoyed our video, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.